today's lesson we're going to be using some handouts to create a name plate. So you can see I have done my own already. I just used my last name. Feel free to use whatever name I'm calling you by. So that way you can use this and prop it up in front of yourself and I see your name. So that is, I guess I should put Miss. So what you're going to do, you're going to start with the pencil. I have a big eraser just because my pencil eraser doesn't work good, but a big eraser is helpful because you got to erase all your lines. So your first step is going to be taking your white paper and you're going to take the long top, it's horizontal, fold it to the long bottom so they match up perfectly. This is important because if you don't do this part, then you're, when you try to sit it up, it's not going to be stable. So make sure they match up. Go ahead and crease it. And then I have some handouts that I'm going to be allowing you to use so you can get the idea. There's a bubble letters, there's a block letters, 3D letters, and then you can see the step-by-step to do the 3D. There's silly letters. So I, as you can see, did a combination. The silly letters I did, and this is telling you a little bit about yourself to me. So you can see if you're looking at this, something in my life has to do with soccer, pencils, and crowns, as you can see. I didn't do silly letters for all of them just because they tend to be a little more tedious. I tried to pick something like I would have loved to put pizza in there, but I guess my A could have been pizza. I'd love dogs, but I don't have an R in my last name. So I'm looking at the silly letters and trying to pick things that have to do with what I like or would describe me. So I did a combination of bubble letters, silly letters, and then I added a little 3D or shading to the edge of them. So you're going to be using your pencil to draw this out first, and then you're going to go over it with a permanent marker. So make sure you do that with your big eraser because, again, you have to erase all those lines before you add color so you don't see them. But you do want to take up this whole side. As you can see, my name is pretty big. I want to be able to see it from far away. So we don't want to write it tiny because then Miss Lawson and her old eyes cannot read it. So you want to make it much bigger. So when you are starting it, like you see in some of the handouts, you just draw the letter with your pencil. The lighter you draw, because again, you're going to have to erase it. So I'm drawing the letter. Once I draw the letter, I can block around it or I can bubble around it, which is kind of what I did already. I can draw the 3D around it once I draw the block. So if I was going to draw the block has more straight lines. Again, I'm not pushing hard. So there's the block. And then I can look at the 3D guide and you can see what you did on, and it's technically going this direction. So I'd find a corner, draw diagonal, corner, diagonal, corner, diagonal, corner, diagonal, corner, diagonal, and then connect all those lines. And then this person that I'm using this worksheet, they just added those lines to the edge. And again, they're all kind of at an angle. So again, I would erase this middle line eventually. I don't want to see that. And then I would trace this part with my permanent marker. It's okay to overlap. That makes it a little more 3D. So you can see as I was drawing my A, I started touching the L right here. I wanted it behind it. So for this one, let's see what I can do. If I do a silly letter, maybe I could do a pizza. And then just draws. Again, I'm drawing light. The W, I did do a silly letter, so I'm just going to do a regular. So for the bubble letters, you're just making more curved lines, and it's okay if it goes behind it. You can see that is what you're going to be doing. Again, if they touch each other, it gives a little more three-dimensional look than just adding that flat shape. So as for the shading, if you're not doing the block letters like I followed on the one handout, you could do like if I was outlining it. Okay, so for the W, and you gotta still have to make sure you get all your letters in. So if you have quite a few letters, I'd write my whole name out before I started outlining it. Okay, so if I wanted to add shading, I've got to think this eraser is the sun. The sun is shining on this letter. So If the sun is shining here, there's no shade here or shadow, but there's a shadow here. No shadow, shadow. So if you want to add a shadow on that edge, I'm just going to take my marker and double the black line. Again, this is where the sun is shining. Okay, so there's a shadow over here. So I'm going to make this line a little bit darker. Again, the sun is shining here, so there's a shadow on this side. So that's adding that thicker line. When you get to adding your marker, tracing it, then you can add that thicker line and making it look like the shadow. Again, I guess the light's shining here, so this one would have a shadow. Give it a little three-dimensional like I did. I even did it on my wonky letters, but you got to be careful. So, and again, if you mess up, it's okay. This is just for fun. But again, draw it out with all your pencil. Once you do that with your pencil, then take your eraser after you trace it and erase anything that you don't want to see, like you saw me, before you add your color.